So good morning, everybody. What a beautiful day it is in the neighborhood. It's going to feel like a 45 today. Wow, what a summer this is. It's incredible, isn't it? Um, Unless you're watching this in the winter, and then it's not such an incredible summer. So we're reading through Amos 1, chapters 1 to 5. And there's something that Amos says here that really stuck in my teeth that I'm going to chew on for a little while, where he says that two can't walk together unless they come into agreement. So that makes sense, right? Like, that's how it works with marriage. You can't walk together unless you come into agreement. There's certain values that you share together, that you agree upon, destinations that you agree upon. They're just values. And so if people don't get to know each other, they don't know whether they actually agree with each other on things and whether they can walk together. When a relationship is just by sexual attraction, when that wears off, what are you left with? So what Amos is referring to here is where the Lord and Israel came into agreement with each other. He made it clear of what the Lord made it clear of what his expectations were, and he gave them all these promises, and he told them what they would need to do for their part of the agreement, and they wholeheartedly, even though Moses told them there's no way that they could do it, they wholeheartedly agreed to enter into that. And so here the Lord has been faithful. He's held up his end of the agreement, walking with Israel, and Israel was walking with Yahweh until they decided they wanted to do things their way, and they broke the agreement. So it's no longer possible for them to walk together. They can't walk together, and so I don't know if you call it prenuptial or what. I have to be careful because it's the church that's been referred to as the bride and not Israel, and so he had warned them what would be the result if the agreement was broken, and the land that had been lent to them they'd be removed from it. He would take that benefit away from them, but he would never abandon them. He promised that he'd never abandon them. He'd just send them for a time out and eventually bring them back. And people say that the prophets of the Old Testament were always negative. But it wasn't. It was a correcting that came with promise. There was always promise that was involved with it. So, anyway, so here we have, as the church, the body of Christ, as believers, entered into a new agreement, a new covenant. And the King who invited us into this, it's always been an invitation. It can't be forced on anybody. It's an invitation, a beautiful invitation, and it needs to be framed that way instead of with fear and threats and manipulation. It's an invitation. Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy burdened. And that was relating to the law. Well, guess what? People are trying to live a law that they themselves are making, with good works and living a good life, and they think that's going to be good enough. And Jesus says, no, it's by me. I'll give you rest. I'm the one who will give you rest. And so here's this invitation, and we've been invited to it. We've been invited to come to this thing, and this is so important. We need to be occupied with this. We do. We need to look at this, and are we keeping our end of the agreement? Are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? Are we walking with him, or are we doing our own thing? Are we being like Israel and decided, yeah, we've received all these benefits, but we're going to do our own thing. We're going to do what we want to do. Is that what's happening? Yeah, it's a real good question, because when we look at the principles that have been given to us, are we living the principles of the kingdom? That's the question. Are we living the principles of the kingdom? I've got to go. There's something going on right now, something for you to consider. Love you guys. You be blessed, and we'll talk to you later.